Hey. All right, so I thought I might start doing regular astrology updates because there's some really big stuff happening in the next 6 weeks. So I'm no good with any time frame. Whenever I think of it, I'll get on this YouTube channel and do a bit of interpretation of what I'm seeing in the astrology. So yeah, the reason I'm going to be looking this way here, I'll let you have a look what I'm looking at is because I'm going to be looking at my screen to see what's happening. So I've put in the astrology for Agnes Water for today at 9 a.m. and taking in mind that, things change like the moon a bit quicker than Saturn and Jupiter. But anyway, when I get down to it, there's one, two, three oppositions squared to Chiron between the ascendant and the descendant line. And it's going from wait a minute, Leo fire to Aquarius air. And so, given that we're dealing with an ascendant descendant and Pluto's in the mix, it's it's massive. We've got this massive opposition happening within us, where we've come from, where we're going, where we've ascended from, what we learnt in the ascension of our own astrology natal chart to where we descend in our own astrology chart. So if you've got a lot of stuff happening and you want to pinpoint which one is a priority to work on and maybe just put the others aside, look at what sign your ascendant's in. And like in this instance in Agnes Water right now, it's in Leo. And so Leo's a fire sign where it's about inspiring the jungle folk to go forward and make this world a better place. And so Leos are born with the ability to have full expression. And along the way where it gets lost is because the sun's shining down on them. It's really easy to fall into ego, that sun, Zeus or the gods of the sun, they're very powerful. And so it's very intoxicating in Leo energy to stay humble in the expression of what you're experiencing. And so, given that, that's where for Agnes Water, this is where we've come from. This town holds the energy of a place where you can express yourself for who you truly are and just be who you are and be accepted for who you are. And then that's crossing over to what's going down on the horizon at the end of every day is this Aquarian energy that's going, wait a minute, let's just check out the whole picture. Let's just check out what's going on here. All right, let's have a think about this and talk about it and use our air communication. Look at the bigger picture and find a different way to do it. The Aquarian energy has got one foot in the water and one foot on the land, balancing the water in the hands. And so it gives us the ability to step back and look at the big picture, not to get caught up in the everyday stuff, so to speak. So that's a massive thing I can see on the astrology right now. Another big one is it's in the modes of the reading for today, there's in the cardinal sign, which is where you need to be the boss and in charge, that's at full capacity. Fixed, where you follow routines and you stick with the story, that's in full capacity. Being able to be adaptable and mutable is at the minimalist amount. So I don't know if you can see it'll be back to front, but I don't know how you do it. But in here, down here, yeah, mutable's way back there. Fixed and cardinal are right up there. So gift to be able to take charge, make decisions, and in a very systematic and realistic way, walk forward. Challenges to adapt to things as they come along, which they will because Pluto's on the descendant. And so Pluto's sitting there saying, okay, you're coming this way. It's going to be very different. It's going to be transformed. And then we've got to stay out of fear, even though we've got enough emotion there to be able to hold the feeling quite well and enough fire to burn it through and, dissipate it, enough air to understand it and enough earth to practically do something about it. So we've got all the tools. The challenge is going to be that ascendant, descendant is what I'm saying. And there's the gifts. So look at the triangles. So we've got some trines between the moon, which is in 1 degree of Libra on this chart. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And that's trine Uranus in Gemini, right? And Pluto in Aquarius. Oh, that's lovely. Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini together. The 3 air signs in a trine. Oh, that's lovely. And so the moon is in the energy of balance and equanimity, a bit like Goenka in the Vipassana. Talks about, yeah, you've got this happening and that happening, but what about if you just meet the middle place and just be equanimous with it? Well, being in the 1st degree of Libra, that's saying that the moon has got the ability now over the next couple of days just to, you know, fall into balance and equilibrium by letting go of trying to balance it. Kind of a paradox of Libra. And then that's trine, and what have we got? We've got Uranus, a very slow moving planet in Gemini, and it's only at the beginning as well, 3 degrees, 1 degree, 5 degrees. Wow. Okay, so it's still at the beginning of Gemini, Uranus is in this air all of a sudden after being stodged down by the earth of Taurus and looking at values and things and not necessarily comfortable. Now that Uranus has moved into Gemini, it's a fellow air sign. They work well together, hence the trine. So the moon's shining down on our need to find our individuality and freedom. This thing within us, this innate quest for individuality and freedom. And then the moon's shining on it with its Libran energy, saying, all right, don't get too caught up and try and find balance. Just be equanimous with it. Just accept what comes. And then we go across to, Pluto in Aquarius in 5 degrees. So they're all early on into these. They're in the baby stage. It's just a new little stage that we've been given to work through. And so some really positive things in there. Most of it's above the horizon in Agnes water. You'd have to look at the house positions and that in your own area to get a full picture. But for here in Agnes, it's mostly above the horizon, which tells us it's outward. So, and the fact that Chiron's got such a dominant place on this chart means that there's a lot. Oh, all right, here we go. Interesting. Chiron 0, the Sun 0, and North Node 1, Moon 1. Wow. To have so many and just moving into that sign says that there's a lot of change happening. So within us, we're having a lot of second thoughts and different dealing with our energy, and we're going through a massive morphosis into an evolutionary ability. And so that takes releasing us from the old. And it looks like from the chart, they're just ripping the Band-Aid now. Rest of June and July is just going to be ripping the Band-Aid. And so it's being authentic enough with yourself to be who you are, and know that you've got all the tools you need for this next chapter. And whilst the universe, challenges us, it also gives us the gifts and the tools to meet that challenge. We're in a dualistic world. You can't have black without white because you wouldn't see the white. And you can't have hot without cold because otherwise you wouldn't know the difference in temperature. There's been all these things placed in our life to allow us to measure ourselves in this picture, and they all have to have an opposite. So that's the same with this intensity of transformation we're passing through really quickly. We've also got all the tools we need for it. And it's quite amazing if you allow those tools to be accessed. It makes the other side really easy. And so here's that Libran balance that the moon's shining on us for the next few days. Okay, I'll stop there and I'll post this up on the page.